Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pacific Pokémon Podcast, where we talk about Pokemon with a focus on VGC. If you like what we do, help us out by clicking that subscribe button and liking the video. It really helps us get to know how we're improving and how we can continue to improve. Anyway, I am Lindsay, and my Pokemon choice this week is just going to go for Sylveon, because Sylveon is fantastic and very fun to use in the right scenarios. Throat Spray is not so great anymore currently, but Choice Specs can be a lot of fun to use, especially under Trick Room.
My favorite Pokemon this week is going to be Sableye. The reason I'm going with Sableye is because I really like the fact that it gets Squash and Faint. Those are two moves I was looking for. I was trying to find some speed control this last week outside of just another Trick Room setter. Sometimes I don't need it for both Pokemon on the field, so I figured I might as well go for Squash in those scenarios, and Faint helps me make sure I can get in those fights I need to get in.
All right. In terms of news, we've got Pokemon Worlds coming next weekend. I hope you all are ready for that. World Championships starts next Friday, if I remember correctly, because they're doing the 3-day split with the finals on Sunday, similarly to regionals, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
It's going to be a massive event. There's tons of stuff going on. Definitely tune in. If you enjoy Pokemon in any sense, it will be the absolute best event to watch in terms of production value and everything. Just be prepared for a great show. You know, every day of that whole stream, it's going to be amazing. And I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, this is their biggest event of the entire year, and quite frankly, with how this game's performed, they need this event to do well.
They definitely do. I mean, they've brought some hits to the event even itself. We didn't cover it last week, actually, but I do want to bring it up this week, how they got rid of the Premier Cup the Player Cup, at the tournament. Yep, they got rid of the Yokohama Open. And that is the only way to get championship points for next season in advance, for those of you who don't know what the Yokohama Cup is. It's basically a extra side event tournament sponsored by Pokemon Company, of course, on I believe Sunday, either the Saturday or Sunday. It's for those who don't make it to day 2 and for those who show up as spectators to have an opportunity to compete and get a head start in the next year's competitive point system. They got rid of it. So that's a blow to everybody who doesn't make it to day 2.
Well, a blow to the people like me who didn't make it at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a blow. No matter what you do, it really sucks how they did that, honestly. I'm definitely not a fan of what they did there. But at the same time, there's got to be some reasoning behind it, so we just kind of have to sit back and hope that their reasoning will make sense at some point. I guess that's all we got, really. In other good news, this is in the good news side, along with Worlds, there's also going to be a Pokemon Presents. They announced in the next Pokemon Presents on the 8th of August at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time. 1400, so that's 2 p.m. in British Standard Time, I believe, BST. Hope I'm getting that right. 10 p.m. in Japan. Yep, 2200. Yeah. looking forward to Pokemon Presents. Let's see what they're giving us in terms of information. Hopefully we'll get some news on the DLC. Hopefully some more enticing information as to what's coming.
I think it's confirmed we are getting a new trailer or
Yeah.
something new.
It's just a question of how much information do we actually get, or is it just a new trailer showing us a lot of the same? And I'm really hoping we get to see some new.
I think it's going to be a lot of the same.
Yeah, it very well might be, unfortunately, but who knows? Even if it is a lot of the same, somebody out there is definitely going to make a massive YouTube video picking out the like 49 things that you're not going to notice that are totally new.
Yep.
Because the Pokemon community is great at that. All right, that aside though, did you want to go over the roles that we did in the Discord?
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a new role in the Discord specifically for one person in particular right now. We got Master Chef goes to Aki. Congratulations to Aki for making it into top 500. Well into top 500, I'll say that too.
Yeah,
and
414, right? Or 411 or whatnot? 400 something.
I can't remember.
But yeah, congratulations to Aki. I also, by the way, dropped in. I didn't end up actually giving him the role yet, but I dropped in the nomination for C-Buddy also to get the role because he made it to, I think it was like number 14 on cart.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
This last week, which is wild. So good job to you, dude. Well done. Seriously, well done. But yeah, congrats to those members of our community who are doing really well right now. And good luck to everybody going to Worlds within the pod chat. I know we've got at least a couple of players headed to Worlds, so good luck to all of you guys. Wishing you guys every crit and 1 HP survival that you may need to win your matches.
And remember, every single subscribe and like helps us get closer to getting invited to Worlds just as spectators and being able to do coverage. So if you guys could do us a favor and please help get us out there and help us manipulate the algorithm, I would really appreciate that.
Oh, the beloved algorithm. Gotta love that thing. But anyway, let's move into the real meat and potatoes of today's episode because I am excited to go over our Pikalytics analysis that we've got this week. We got tons of new information because Pikalytics finally has statistics for Cart and Showdown. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so we got Fluttermane at number 1 again.
Of course. By the way, we're starting off with Showdown statistics.
Oh, we're starting off at Showdown? Okay.
I believe that's what you were starting off on, correct?
Yeah. It's number 1 for both.
Touche, it is number 1 on both. So Fluttermane is number 1 on both. Surprise, surprise. It's still Fluttermane.
Oh gosh. Sorry, yawn. Ooh.
Breathe.
One of the things that Fluttermane's doing nowadays, though, is that elusive Calm Mind Flutter is now starting to see a rise in usage.
Is it?
Yeah. Substitute Calm Mind, Icy Wind are things that you're starting to see.
Yep, Substitute and Icy Wind are showing up in the Pikalytics analysis trick room as well. Also showing up quite more frequently.
One of the things that Aki used to destroy me the other day was Fake Tears.
Yeah, Fake Tears on Fluttermane I feel like is really interesting.
Yeah, with a Chiyu Flutter attack, it makes Chiyu obliterate everything.
Yep. Yeah, that Chiyu would hurt a lot. Impressive. Yeah, Fluttermane currently is seeing a 64.22% usage rate on Showdown. We're looking at choice specs still being its number one most common item, about 42%, 42.5% choice specs usage. Booster Energy at number 2, 37%. Pixie Plate, now that it's available with the home drop, is showing up at 12.5% because it is the only held item that can boost fairy damage. Sash coming in at 5.5 and the other 3%, 2% actually, doing whatever other items people feel like.
I have heard that there is a Rocky Helmet version of Fluttermane running around.
You know, I believe that actually, though. Rocky Helmet, Water Terra, Fluttermane kind of thing.
Max defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I totally believe that that is out there. That sounds exactly like Fluttermane right now.
Yeah, Fluttermane is your answer for everything that's still relevant.
It really is. The top moves on Fluttermane in order, we're looking at Shadow Ball and Dazzling Gleam at 91.4, 90.8. Basically the same. Usage rate. Moonblast, Protect, Thunderbolt, Substitute, Trick Room, and Icy Wind with another 19% going to other moves, though, which is kind of neat. Fluttermane is actually seeing a good bit of usage in that fourth move slot, giving it almost 20%. That's pretty good, actually. Teammates. Honestly, I feel like these Pokemon are just kind of what is the top of the meta here, honestly.
I mean, if you just look at the top 6 Pokemon right now,
it is literally almost every single one of those.
That is literally a Pokemon team that you see all the time.
Yep.
Right now. That is like Fluttermane, Urshifu, Amoonguss, Tornadus, Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, Heatran.
Yeah.
That's a common core 6 right now.
It very much is. I feel like considering that the teammates are going to be almost exactly the same for probably every single one of these Pokemon, we'll discuss anything that is surprising for teammates. Anything out of the top 15 showing up in there. I feel like is all that we would need to cover on that. There is a huge disparity of EV spreads on Fluttermane. Wow. Do you see this?
Yeah, the highest percentage of any EV spread is
5%. Wow. That is a lot of variance. People are doing everything with their Fluttermanes. Wow.
If you look at the natures, though, it's like
everything timid, modest.
Everything timid, modest. And actually, if you look at, I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like timid has, it's about 50-50, but timid has a little bit more common usage in what you're going to see. And all of these timid ones are 252. Oh, I lied. There is a couple that you might see that's 124 and a 68 speed timid.
Yeah, 116, 124 range, yep. There's a couple that are EVing for very specific numbers in that range. Most likely to outspeed genies or something in that area.
Exactly.
I believe that either at 132 or 116 is for genies or something like that with timid nature. Or that's the benchmark to outspeed bundle with a booster energy, or Regieleki with a booster energy, I mean.
Maybe.
Booster speed, outspeed Regieleki.
I think that one's the 116. That sounds right.
Yeah, something like that, definitely.
Moving down the list, we got Urshifu Rapid Strike. And what do you know? It is using Surging Strikes 100% of the time.
I'm honestly terrified that that number isn't actually a 100% of the time. That's
That was
99.996.
0.004.
But like,
Yeah,
who out there isn't
0.004%.
using Surging Strikes on their Urshifu water? Who? I need to know who of you out there on Showdown decided to actually use Urshifu water without Urshifu water's signature, obviously absurdly good move. And why? Hit me up in the comments.
Give us a reason not to use Surging Strikes on Urshifu Rapid Strike, please. When is that not a good idea?
Yeah, I don't understand that one whatsoever. At
One of the
all.
cool things that Urshifu is starting to do a little bit more often is ice spinnering.
True. I did notice that it's actually showing up at 6% usage on Ice Spinner. Wow, the rest of its moves
have
are...
not seen an ice spinner now, but everything else though is very standard. You got your protect moves, you got your pivot with U-turn, and you got your close combat Aqua Jet Surging Strike. Very straightforward Pokemon, in my opinion, but also does require a good amount of skill to be able to pilot. You got to be able to make your right reads. Right now, people are using Choice Scarf as a top item, for almost 35%. So when you're locking yourself into those moves, you really got to be thinking about your late game and not just blindly clicking Surging Strikes all the time.
Indeed, indeed. Especially with that Choice Scarf, get locked into that one move, and then your opponent brings out a Gastrodon or something, and oops. That your slot is useless there, so either you switch into an attack, or you let your Urshifu go down. And feed your opponent at the same time.
I think most of the time with those scarves, they usually just let the Urshifu go down.
Yeah, usually you either let it go down or you use that U-turn on that first turn with the Urshifu in, and you just you U-turn out and bring something else in. Splash plate. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I guess people just like to use plates sometimes. Mystic Water does exactly the same thing though, so.
I'm pretty sure it's cheaper to get a splash plate in game than it is to get a Mystic Water in game.
It might be.
But yeah, but you can. I'm pretty sure you can find a Mystic Water on the ground, but you can't find a splash plate on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's differences.
Voice band at 2.4%.
Choice band, get out of here with that. It doesn't need it.
I can understand it in some scenarios. It's really nice to pick up those unexpected KOs. KO something that your opponent didn't think you would.
It's already doing double damage with its signature move, in my opinion. I just don't see,
There's not a lot of need. It's really for getting those, like, banded Aqua Jets that can do some extra damage, I think.
I mean, it's got a 130 attack stat, which is insane already. So, it's not like with Ursaluna where you're going for those neutral hits no matter what with Facade.
True,
where you really do just need to pump those numbers up to do big damage. Like Urshifu doesn't have problems with picking up Okos, even on neutral hits.
Yeah, this is true. Especially with Terra. Terra Water, Surging Strikes, and just
Pokemon that wants to protect one of them.
Yeah. EV spreads here are looking a lot more expected, You have basically 20% or 21% for the first two. They're exactly the same, just with the extra 4 EVs being in a different stat. You're looking at the 252 HP or 252 attack, 252 speed.
In particular, though, the Adamant 132 HP, 156 defense. That one alone can solo a Dragonite and Chiampao combo, in my opinion, with the right partner. It's bulky enough to not get O-code.
Yeah. And there are some
So
here
they
with
have
some
to
good,
double into it, and nobody doubles into it in that strategy, in my opinion.
generally
So if you're
not.
able to get your opponent caught off guard with your stat distribution,
Yeah.
you can usually go for a pickup hit right there and stop the Dragonite Chantal sweep.
Yeah. Interesting to see the bulkier Urshifu Rapids finally starting to eke their way in through Showdown's meta, at least. Once again, the teammates are exactly the same meta Pokemon. So no surprise there. And Urshifu's ability is obviously the one ability that it has.
Yep, moving on. We got Tornadus.
Amoonguss or Tornadus?
Oh, whoops, I misread. We got Amoonguss.
The
Coming
mushroom.
up next. Yep, coming up next, we got Amoonguss.
There's a
Sitting at number
fungus
3 at
Amoonguss.
36%. Yep, he's not doing anything new.
No, he's really not. Rocky Helmet's taking off again as the item choice because of Urshifu, obviously. But otherwise,
People were running a little bit more bulky than special defense-wise that they were running in Regulation C.
true.
But other than that, that's just a Amoonguss thing.
Yeah, I see a lot of bold now, whereas in Regulation C, I saw a lot more variation between special and physical bulk on these Amoonguss, but now everybody's just going hard physical bulk, which makes sense. Urshifu is definitely one of the hardest hitters in the meta and one of the strongest meta Pokemon.
Yep.
Clear Smog sitting at 33%. Yep.
Yep.
Even that. Oh, hey. Amoonguss actually does have Gyarados showing up as one of its partners. What do you know? Gary's still hanging around, clinging on at the bottom of that roll of 15% usage as a teammate. Nice.
Yep, that's what I used in Reg C.
Good job, Gyarados. You're still hanging in there a little bit.
Moving on to Tornadus, we got Tornadus using its new signature move, Bleak Wind Storm, along with setting up Tailwind. And it is almost always setting up weather.
Yeah. Either Rain Dance or Sunny Day, taking up 67% of its, roughly, actually a little bit more, but hey, about 2/3 of its move usage with Bleak Wind, Tailwind, and Taunt. Could you have guessed?
Nope, I could not have. Honestly, this is the most I'm so taken back by this, like move distribution that like, where's Hurricane?
Why use Hurricane when you can just use Spread Move Hurricane?
That's true.
100% accurate in the rain. It's basically exactly the same thing. It doesn't cause confusion, but it causes a speed drop, so like, what's better? Usually confusion,
Yeah.
actually, because Defiant exists, but hey.
You could say the same about how reliable it is to get confused versus being a speed drop too.
Yeah.
Speed drop will happen 100% of the time unless they're clear amulet or something like that.
That's a 20% chance on Bleak Wind.
Oh, excuse me, yeah, 20%.
20% both Pokemon though as well, which is
So you're saying 25%?
extra.
Is it not 25% chance to hit yourself
Bleak Wind?
with confusion? I'm just debating on which one's better.
Oh, confusion damage. I mean, Hurricane has a
Yeah,
30% chance to inflict confusion. And then confusion damage is based off of the Pokemon's attack. I forget exactly what the math is on that, though. I'd have to look that up.
Okay. But yeah, Bleak Wind is better 100% of the time, in my opinion.
Let's see. Confusion is calculated with a typeless physical move with a base power of 40.
Okay.
So it's just flat out calculated as a typeless physical base power 40. So it's like hitting yourself with Fake Out, but no flinch.
Does it? What's the chances for it to do that though?
Gotcha. Confusion. Chance to hurt yourself in confusion?
Yeah.
Currently it's a 33%, 1 in 3 chance.
Okay.
It originally was a 50-50. Oof. No wonder confusion was OP in old games. It was a 50% chance to hurt yourself in confusion.
50-50 chance for Swagger to work.
Gross. Yeah, Swagger T-Wave would be obnoxious there. 25% chance on T-Wave and 50% chance on confusion.
Have been adjusted a little bit. They're not quite as good as they used to be.
Not quite, but still good. Jeez, that's oppressive. Yeah, old confusion was a nightmare.
Moving on to Tornadus' partners. It is the same as the top 15, except for nope, there's
That's the top.
nothing here.
Yep, those are all the top. Covert Cloak and Mental Herb being the top items, with Rocky Helmet, Citrus Berry, and Sash, and then a couple others. As niche picks, Life Orb and Wide Lens showing up at like 1% usage. Life Orb Tornadus, interesting. You know what I actually want to see? Specs Torn.
You got to use the other form for that.
Touché. The other form is a little bit better for that, considering higher special attack and regenerator.
A little bit. It actually would be able to get use out of an ability that way.
True. Yeah, it might. This is true. Although Defiant Tornadus. Defiant Choice Band Tornadus. There we go. That's the answer.
No.
That's the meta call for Worlds right there, guys.
Get out of the kitchen.
I'm gonna set everything on fire.
You didn't wash your hands. Come on.
Yes, I did. I'm just gonna set everything on fire. Anyway, looking at Tornadus' EV spreads here, a lot of these make a lot of sense. Timid, 252 being the number one at 10%. 7% modest, 252 HP, 220 defense. So the modest with heavy physical bulk is second most common, with bold and physical bulk being the third most common. Wow. All right. People are really going bulky Tornadus again. You called it.
I've only been using bulky Tornadus.
You called it early on. And I mean, it makes sense in most scenarios, too. You just kind of have to plan for probably losing to opposing Tornadus, especially in the mirror lead.
Yeah. One of you gets a taunt, and that's it.
Yep. Unless you're holding Mental Herb or Terra Dark.
Yep.
Next on the list, I'm actually very surprised. Well, not surprised, but very pleased to see up here where it is at 30% usage. Iron Hands, he's back. He's back in full force. Top moves, Drain Punch, Fake Out, Wild Charge, and Heavy Slam alongside that Assault Vest. Makes sense. AV being the choice item 86% of the time, with Citrus Berry Safety Goggles and Booster Energy making up another about 10%. A little bit more. Yeah. Typical Iron Hands. Volt Switch has a bit of usage in there as well at about 25%. Thunder Punch at that 12% mark. Sometimes it's nice to save some HP in exchange for damage. A lot of the time you really need to be able to pick up those KOs. The Wild Charge is usually the preferred move there. Sword Stance 10% of the time, for all of those times that it's not holding an Assault Vest. Literally. Like almost 100% of the time that it's not holding that Assault Vest, it has Sword Stance. That's impressive. All of the usual partners, with Gyarados popping itself back up here again alongside Iron Hands. That actually does make a lot of sense. Gyarados and Iron Hands have great synergy together. EV spreads. We've got
They're all adamant.
adamant, adamant, adamant.
So how much life do you need to spend with your iron hands to make it work? That's what I want to know. How many times do you click wild charge and drain punch in the game?
I mean,
Probably 100% of the time.
a good 85. You click Heavy Slam into the Fluttermane, because as long as you have Heavy Slam, you can counter Fluttermane. You know, especially if they don't attack you. Then, okay, well, I'll just sit here for free and Heavy Slam you in return and say bye-bye.
Usually they just peace out when they see that move.
Oh, of course. Of course. Especially on open team sheets. Generally speaking, I think that person, any smart player, is like, Iron Hands is good against Fluttermane. Even if Fluttermane can KO it, I need Fluttermane to be the only, or like Iron Hands to be the only thing left at that point. You know, like you can't have it have friends, because if it doesn't get KO'd and it survives and retaliates, you're kind of done. Surprisingly enough, though, these Iron Hands are starting to stray a little bit away from the full damage, full bulk build, you know, of that almost 252 attack, 252 special defense kind of thing that I saw for a little while around.
It's still there. It's just that usually those variants are the fast variant now. So they're taking from those two stats to invest into speed.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Yep, it's interesting to see a 116 and 132 speed EV Iron Hands showing up near the top. That's really neat. Fast Hands. Under Tailwind, I'm sure it actually is very speedy.
Oh, any base 50 Pokemon is pretty good under Tailwind, in my opinion. I've done Fast Bear. The very first Ursaluna I ran wasn't with a Trick Room. It was a Tailwind team.
Yeah, Tailwind Ursaluna. An interesting pick there, too. I look forward to when we get down to Ursaluna here, because that definitely is in the list. Next up, we got Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao coming in. Number 6 is that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, number 6. We're gonna do top 10, by the way. Sash. Sash on Chien-Pao with Sucker Punch, Protect, Sacred Sword, and Ice Move.
Yep, Ice Move.
Ice Move. 68% Icicle Spinner and 31% Icicle Crash.
Yep. It's running Focus Dash 100% of the time.
Almost. 96. But yeah, basically almost 100% of the time. The other 3% is like Choice Band. Sometimes. Probably Band, probably a Scarf, probably, yep, Heavy Duty Boots somewhere. Maybe a Clear Amulet tossed in. And on Showdown, it looks like pretty much everybody out there is running still the Jolly max speed, max attack Chien-Pao. That's almost 50% usage. See, that's almost what I expect to see from some meta Pokemon, but Fluttermane, man, just gets such a wide variety of EV spreads. People are going wild on that Pokemon, I swear.
Yeah. But it's really like the 252 fast for the speed.
Yep. And Chien-Pao needs that speed to have the chance to outspeed opposing Fluttermanes, as long as they aren't booster energy.
Yep.
So, definitely comes in handy, and Chien-Pao can use that speed to its advantage a lot.
Moving down to number 7, we got Heatran.
Indeed.
And the best grass type. This is, I think, the only Pokemon on this list that we will see in its top 4 moves. Terra Blast.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Maybe on Landorus T. Maybe. But anyway, back to Heatran. Go.
Heatran is the best grass type. It is using Heat Wave almost every single time. It's doing Protect nowadays. You're not going to really run into AV Heatran nowadays anymore.
Wow.
It's almost always going to be Leftovers or Citrus Berry, I think, honestly. I see more often than Safety Goggles or Life Orb. But
yeah, both are definitely on the rise for sure.
If you're not going to go Terra Grass or don't plan on using it as a Terra Pokemon, a really reliable item is Shuckleberry to reduce those ground type hits.
That is true. That is definitely true. Shuckleberry is super helpful for Heatran sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's like 1 or 2 people deciding to use Flame Body instead of Flash Fire on Heatran.
Yeah, it looks like there are some people
Why you gotta
using
burn?
the wrong ability. See, but almost looks like some people are trying to do it intentionally. Maybe that's where the Rocky Helmet comes in. Yeah, that's
Rocky
definitely
Helmet,
the Rocky Helmet.
Flame Body. Ow. Why you gotta be so mean?
Because you want a 100% chance to burn.
Don't leave me with those burns. That hurts, my friend. That hurts. But anyway, digress from that. Eevee spreads. It's like Iron Hands, but special. 100% modest.
Yep.
Everybody's using modest on their Heatran. No surprise there. Variances, lots of variances, honestly, between special attacks, speed, and HP investment. Some with some heavy defense investment. But even the 252s are popping up frequently here at around 4% each for the 252 builds, HP and special attack variations. Mm-hmm. So, all in all, Heatran's showing up pretty consistently. They're basically just building for bulk and damage. Classic Heatran, still doing what it did before.
Yep.
Flash Cannon showing up a little bit at 40% usage. Substitute actually at 38. Wow, I'm really surprised to see 38.5% usage on Substitute. That's definitely on the rise. Definitely. Coming in again. Sub Heatran with Leftovers, though, is just phenomenal, especially when you pair it with that Rillaboom and Grassy Terrain recovery. Mm-hmm. Like, jeez.
Moving on to the next Pokemon, we got Landorus Therian using U-turn almost 100% of the time.
Stab moves are third in percentage. Third and fourth. I love it.
Yeah, you know why? It's because they're not very good. You're either taking Rocky Helmet damage or you're getting reduced damage from a Grassy Terrain.
Yeah, and Grassy Terrain is very common right now, unfortunately.
50%, just about 50% of people are using Terra Blast, though. I'm pretty sure that's for Terra Blast flying, though.
Yep. The only other Pokemon that I could imagine using Terra Blast in the current meta, except maybe Chi-Yu and Dragonite as well.
Move.
But yeah, Landorus, yep, uses Terra Blast to get that Terra Flying stab. And that is definitely the big reason why he is there.
Yeah.
50% Assault Vest, 51% Assault Vest. So I guess nobody's running Landorus and Iron Hands together. Clearly.
No, not very often. And when they are, they're running Booster Hands.
Yeah, they're running either the Booster Hands or they're running one of the choice item Landorus sets. That choice scarf is actually pretty common at 20%. I'm kind of surprised.
Scarf Landorus puts in a lot of work. I mean, it's got really a 145 base attack stat, so it's really putting in a lot of damage.
Yeah, this thing hurts. I'm actually quite surprised that it really fell off. I thought I was going to see a little bit more, like I thought I would see some percentage usage of the special Landorus Therian variant showing up, because there have been some people just going like special Sand Seer Storm and Sludge Bomb on Landorus Therian for the Intimidate.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's been some of that. Yep. Yeah. That's been kind of hanging out around the meta a little bit, and I kind of thought I'd see that show up a bit more, enough to actually be noted on Pikalytics, but I guess not. And
maybe we'll just have to wait for after Worlds, because that sounds like something somebody's going to pick for Worlds rather than on Showdown.
You might be right. You may be right. Teammates are very standard there as well. The meta is really starting to define itself between kind of like 10, 15 Pokemon, it feels like, and a couple extra picks. In EV spreads, we're all looking predominantly Adamant, a couple of Jolly ones here as well, usually to go with that Choice Scarf, but the vast majority is looking at Adamant with high attack investment, and then a variation between either HP and other bulk or speed investment, and pretty much just those fairly standard EV spreads. Most common is 252 HP, 116 attack, 44 defense, 76 special defense, and 20 speed. Well spread out, but fairly standard and straightforward at the same time. Next down the list, we got the Rillaboom. One of my favorites, and also the current through the end of this weekend. Normal Terra raid, 7-star raid rerun. Have you gotten your Rillaboom, by the way?
I actually am going to have to do the rerun. I haven't done it yet.
The rerun is happening right now. This weekend is the rerun, so I highly recommend logging in online and at least pulling it up so that you can hopefully get it before you log back on the online again. Otherwise, you might be struggling to get that Rillaboom the Unrivaled.
I gotta get the title. It's the only way. Is it shiny locked?
No, it's shiny locked.
Cool.
Like all of the 7-star Terra raids have been, they're shiny locked.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you could get a shiny Unrivaled. That would be cool.
It would be. That is okay. As nobody's surprised by, Rillaboom is in the top. Fake Out, U-Turn, Wood Hammer, Knockoff, and Stomping Tantrum being the most common moves. Every Rillaboom out there almost is running Fake Out, 99.5% usage. U-Turn at 93% usage as well. Pivoting is really showing up a lot right now in the meta. Wood Hammer for the main damage source, obviously. Drum Beating coming in at 28%, which is pretty decent. And Protect at 17%. Under that, the Protect being for any that are not running that Assault Vest. So there's about 73% of players running Assault Vest here as well. That item is in such high demand in the meta right now. Some of the top Pokemon are all just fighting over that item. And in team building, it definitely can be tough deciding who you give that Assault Vest to. Whether you give it to the Rillaboom, whether you give it to the Heatran, whether you give it to the Iron Hands.
It depends on which of those three you're going to use, in my opinion.
You know, quite a few teams actually use multiple.
Yeah, but I think if you're going to do it, I think if you're going to do something here, I think you're going to do Assault Vest on Rillaboom, Leftovers on Heatran, and probably Booster Energy on hand.
Yeah, that's fair. That definitely can work. But yeah, Rillaboom is doing Rillaboom things. Very standard move sets. Knockoff at 38, Stomping Tantrum at 34, Drum Beating at 28, Protect hanging out at 17% usage there. Its teammates, Rillaboom does actually have Regieleki showing up in its teammate list, which is pretty neat. Regieleki kind of fell off a bit out of the top 20 or so currently in the meta standing, but it is one of those niche picks that does perform it, at least.
A niche pick that everybody thought was going to have way more definition than it actually did.
Yeah, the hit to transistor, everybody realized, cost it just enough damage output to prevent it from picking up a lot of the KOs that it used to be able to pick up. So a lot of these moves that it's going into, it can't pick up a KO when it thinks that it would. So, unfortunate for Regieleki this generation. Congratulations to Regidrago for actually becoming meta thanks to not getting nerfed. Almost making it into the top 15. Adamant being the nature of choice on almost all Rillabooms. There's a careful spread in there for those hyper bulky ones, running 252 special defense and a careful nature. I'm curious if that's able to survive a Chi-Yu like Heat Wave or Overheat maybe or something, but I doubt that.
I think that's what it's for. Not the Overheat, but the Heat Wave, yeah.
Yeah. Heat Wave because of spread damage, 70 or 75%. Is it 75? I think it's 75% for spread moves. I think you're right. 75% to each target. Most Rillabooms running pretty low speed, looking at either 12 or 60 speed EVs, and the rest distributed into predominantly defenses and HP, with a little bit of attack here and there. So nobody's really going heavy into that damaging Rillaboom, going more actively into the fake out pressure and the support and U-turn. Next up, the 999 Golden Boy. All right, so PC ended up deciding to crash mid-recording, so back to where we were. Let's start back on Golden Go, number 10. Number 10, Golden Go. Yeah.
My least favorite Pokemon of this new generation, solely because it's like the hardest one for me to deal with in any team building situation.
Fair enough. Golden Go does kind of have...
I lean to be put as a player right where Golden Go wants me to be.
You kind of naturally opposed to where Golden Go ends up on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunately, but understandable. You know? Golden Go's a tough Pokemon to work around if you don't have anything for it. However, it does have its limitations, you know, obviously. Mostly just its speed stat being not incredible. But it's good enough under Tailwind, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm, that's absolutely for sure.
Yeah, Golden Go's number 2 partner is Tornadus for Tailwind. Number 1 partner being Urshifu Rapid. So, like, yeah, that makes sense. Make a Rain, Shadow Ball, Protect, Nasty Plot, Trick, Thunderbolt, and then about 8% to other shenanigans, but that's very standard. Very standard.
And I just really want to put out there, like, Trick on Golden Go is such a good tech. There are very few Pokemon that really get to reliably just say, hey, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do, and I'm going to stop you from doing it multiple times in a row.
Yeah, Trick, Nasty Plot, Specs, Golden Go is just phenomenal. Because if you just stay on the field, you have Specs right away to just blast Make It Rain for very hard damage immediately. Or you Trick to disable a certain opponent, a Pokemon that really doesn't want to lose its item, or a Pokemon that can't benefit well from choice specs. So, I mean, like, you put your specs on an Amoonguss, and oof. Or a Landorus Therian.
Yeah.
A bulky Landorus T loses its Assault Vest in exchange for choice specs, and oof. That's no fun. Yeah, that's a good call. Good thing to bring up, because that's very strong right now in the meta. Specs being the number one item on Goldengo at 42% usage. 35% though on the leftovers. So anybody who's not running leftovers on your Heatran, it's probably on the Goldengo. Citrus and then Life Orb finally coming in at the end there. I'm really surprised that nobody's using the Scarf Goldengo whatsoever anymore.
Yeah, nobody's using Scarf anymore.
I guess everybody's just going for Tailwind or Bust.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way it goes with the Goldengo is Tailwind or Bust. I don't really think it needs the people to set up monsters, especially when we have such good Tailwind users like Tornadus right now.
This is true. This is true. Surprisingly enough, the Bold Nature being the highest EV spread, Bold Nature with high defense investment, max HP, and 212 defense being the most common. That's a little surprising to me, but hey, that's probably the bulky Terra Water Goldengo that's been running around just for nasty plot and Terra Water to deal with Urshifu Rapid super well. My kitty's just meowed at me, yelling at me. Adorable. Anyway, Modest being the next couple of natures underneath that, and then the Bold coming back at another 2.5% with a slightly different special attack investment versus speed and special defense. So,
yeah,
all in all, that heavy bulk defensive Goldengo really being the most common Goldengo set out there nowadays. 252, 212. That's the Goldengo people are using. Number 11. We might as well go to number 15 because the 15 are actually exactly the same between Showdown and Cart, just in slightly different order. So, you want to take this one?
Sure. The next one is going to be Cresselia, the Moon Duck. Moon Duck is going to be probably one of the most meta-defining Pokemon, as it is able to Trick Room better than most, along with its signature moves, actually, both being able to cure status conditions in particular, outside of course, freeze and sleep. When it is frozen or slept, it is not able to use a move. Thus, it can't clear it because the only move that'll bust you out of freeze is a
fire type move, usually, right?
No, it's actually only Flare Blitz. I was trying to think if it was any other one, but I think it's just Flare Blitz that guarantees Thaw.
There may be a couple other niche moves that are weak damage. I think like Flame Charge guarantees it as well.
Maybe. I can't remember.
But there's very few. Yeah, I know that for sure. Or getting hit with a fire type move, I think actually has a higher chance. Or something
and of course,
like that.
We can't forget, of course, the stored power set.
Oh my goodness, the Calm Mind Ghost Terra stored power. Cresselia. Yep. Yeah, making a show up at 11.5% on the Calm Mind and 7.5 of them running the stored power as well. Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Cresselia. Icy Wind at 13%. I'm actually kind of surprised by that.
It's because it can usually live hits and be able to retaliate with speed control.
Fair enough. Yeah, actually, it is very bulky. I mean, these EV spreads are very, very bulky.
And you don't really need to do anything else with it. I mean, I run Terra Fairy, Moonblast, or Dazzling Gleam on mine just to be able to ump the damage a little bit. But when I need to in those situations, like if I haven't Terra'd and gaming Cresselia is all I have left, sure, I'll Terra Fairy. Do I need to always go with a Terra Fairy to produce a Wicked Blow, like a double into it? No, I don't always need to, though. I don't always need to go for defensive Terras, which is really nice because it allows me to put out even more offensive pressure with the rest of my team.
True.
I've been personally running the safety goggles set since day one, just about. I've been convinced here and there that mental herb is good, but safety goggles, in my opinion, is just way better. I've been running it on a sand team lately to pair with that safety goggles, and it's been a lot of fun being able to pair it with a lot of let's see if anything on this list I'm actually using.
I mean,
The only,
everything on this list is very expected.
but the only Pokemon on this list that I'm actually using right now is Ursaluna from the teammates. Um, Ursaluna and Cresselia are the only two Pokemon I'm using right now from the top 15.
Impressive. Only two. They're still great
Yeah,
too, that's for sure.
and I mean, I'm not super high ladder by any means, but I mean, I sit about a respectable 13 to 1400 usually.
Not bad, not bad. That's for dang sure. Yeah, these Cresselia spreads are predominantly very defensive. Bold and high physical defense being almost all of them.
Sometimes you'll run it modest if you
Yeah.
just want to be able to feed like an Oko into a bulky dark Urshifu, because you're more likely to run into a bulky dark than a bulky water Urshifu.
Yeah.
So you can usually get those KOs if you're not going to try a fairy with a modest and 20 speed investment. That's the other way you can get the guaranteed Oko on a bulky Urshifu.
Yep.
But yeah, it likes to sit in front of things and deal with Pokemon partners.
Yeah. And very useful. It's also going to be the only Pokemon showing up with Ally Switch, which is not surprising considering its bulk.
What's surprising is that it's sitting at 32% usage.
Ally Switch is common.
It is. It's pretty good.
It's actually more common than Psychic. Wow, 25% usage on Psychic.
Or yeah, the top 4 moves are literally what I was running at the very beginning of Reg D.
Lunar Blessing, Trick Room, Moonblast, and then Ally Switch at number 4. Wow. Yep. People are going back to the old school Ally Switch strats now that we have something actually bulky enough to utilize it well.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Even since they nerfed it, too.
Oh, yeah. Especially since they nerfed it.
Yeah, that's what impresses me out of that.
Going down the list, we got you.
One of my favorites of this new gen.
Yeah, Chi is pretty good.
It's another Terra Blaster.
It is another Terra Blaster.
She is a good Terra Blast user. Terra Blast Water and Terra Blast Grass are both really good on this Pokemon.
I will always remember the first time I did Terra Water Chi, and somebody on Showdown ladder told me that I was cheating.
Ah! Cheating by choosing Terra Water.
I don't know what you're supposed to do other than put the fish in water.
Seriously, put the fish in water or make it a grass type because flower fish. The flower fish is good. I really enjoy Grass Terra Chi still. Honestly, I can't deny that at all.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
I really find Grass Terra Chi actually able to counter Dondozo. Even through the special defense buffs, because it just powers in so hard.
Yep, it pumps damage.
But yeah, Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, and Overheat, and then Terra Blast being the top 4 moves on Chi-Yu. Protect being number 5, just barely under Terra Blast. Snarl coming in actually at 32% usage as well. That's pretty impressive. Stab Snarl is really good on that Pokemon. That thing can actually do a lot of damage with a choice specs boosted Snarl, I feel like.
Yeah.
50% to, defensively weaker Pokemon. And then you got Nasty Plot at 9% and other moves at about 19%. Filling what's left. In items...
We got some really interesting teammates.
We do, actually. Okay, gotta talk about the teammates on this one.
20% For 23% Gyarados, 20%
Yeah.
Roaring Moon,
Roaring Moon coming in at
17%
21.
17% Dondozo Tatsugiri, and
Yeah. And then the rest is
honor,
top meta.
yeah, rest is top meta.
Landorus, Urshifu, but like Gyarados, Roaring Moon, and Dondozo Tatsugiri.
I'm kind of interested in seeing
Roaring
what
Moon
teams
overall
belong.
is at a 6.5% usage.
So that means that when Roaring Moon is being used, it's being used with Chi-Yu right now.
No kidding. Roaring Moon is at like
Just look on Roaring
22nd
Moon.
right now.
Yeah, Roaring Moon is most commonly paired with Fluttermane, Amoonguss, Iron Hands, and Chi-Yu, and Gyarados. So I guess that's our 6
Yeah,
for Chi-Yu.
that's just a strong 6 in general. Chi-Yu and Roaring Moon do have good offensive pressure for sure, especially with Fluttermane mixed in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What an interesting team. That's kind of that Regulation C team that I know a couple of people have been using. I know Neil is one of them who's been using Roaring Moon Balance in Regulation D and performing fairly well.
Yeah.
But in terms of items for Chi-Yu, over 50% usage on choice specs. Life Orb at 15, Scarf at 11, and then we've got Safety Goggles and Focus Sash, and then a little bit of Assault Vest tossed in there.
Assault Vest is interesting on here because it basically takes that one thing that Chi-Yu is going to be the highest special defense in the field and makes it that much better.
No kidding, because like 120 base special defense is really solid, and then you put that with its low 55 HP, but if you invest a bit into that HP stat and then give it an Assault Vest, that thing can really take some hits.
Yep, hats off the Chi-Yu.
For EV spreads, Timid and Modest all the way through. Nobody's using anything different. Predominantly Modest, but some high percentage usage on Timid as well.
Yeah, these are the same sets that we saw as Regulation C.
Yep, pretty much. The high speed, high special attack, just nuke it all, do tons of damage sets. And then the kind of bulkier, do some solid special attack, and survive a couple of hits here and there kind of sets as well.
Mm-hmm.
But very, very consistent with Regulation C usage of Chi-Yu there. Next up, we got the D-Knight. Classic OG Dragonite. Looking at Extreme Speed, Outrage, Stomping Tantrum, Aqua Jet. Aerial Ace is showing up. 38% usage on Aerial Ace for a flying stab.
And then Terra Blast, not too far below it.
Yep, although only 7% usage on the Terra Blast in comparison. Surprisingly enough, that's a big difference.
3% of people are using Giga Impact. Stop. Stop that right now.
Paranormal Choice Band Giga Impact Dragonite. Because 85% of people are using Choice Band on Dragonite.
Yeah, that's too much damage.
It's a lot of damage. And I mean, that can KO things that don't expect to get one shot by Dragonite. Like, that can KO certain Iron Hands. I'm 100% sure.
Like, it takes like that damage that you get from like your E speed and like try and close the gap with a Giga Impact, basically.
Yeah, it does as much damage as 2 E speeds almost. It's very close at 150 base power. And doing that in one turn sometimes is all you need to be able to just pick up the win instead of the loss, especially in late game. If you're up against 2 opponents and you've got 2 Pokemon left, if it's that 2v2 and you've got your Chen-Pao and your Dragonite, and you need to KO that Iron Hands, sometimes.
Notable partners, we got Dozogiri again.
Dozogiri, once again, yep. Showing up in the notable partners with the Dragonite. Interesting.
Other than that, it is top 15 mon.
Yep, Dragonite having such a wide, notable move pool, though. Interesting how you're looking at Terra Blast at
Oh yeah, of
7%,
course.
Ice Spinner at
It's a Gen 1
7,
Pokemon.
Rock Slide
Gen
at
1
4.
Pokemon always have good coverage.
Not all of them, but a lot of them that were good in Gen 1 definitely have good
Yeah.
coverage now. And Dragonite has been blessed with just improving coverage every generation. I mean, they gave it Ice Spinner.
It's suffering from success.
Yeah. They gave it Iron Head when Iron Head came out. They gave it Low Kick. They gave it Ice Spinner when that came out. Aerial Ace is solid. It got Stomping Tantrum as well to go alongside the Earthquake problems that have started coming up lately, where you don't generally want to be using Earthquake because grassy terrain is so common.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a interesting split on the abilities for Dragonite too, though. 55 and 44. Well, 55.8, 44.2, basically, on the inner focus multi-scale. So everybody's very split there.
Which side are you on?
I'm on the multi-scale side.
I knew you'd
personally.
I'm on the inner focus side of things.
I know how to handle fake out, honestly. Fake out is easy to handle.
Fake out.
In some scenarios, you don't. Yeah. It does definitely depend, you know? Sometimes I'm like, okay, cool, fake out, that's fine. I'll just protect or switch in my Flutter Mane, who, guess what, is immune to your fake out, and you just wasted that slot that turn, and my other Pokemon does nice damage.
That's what inner focus is for, is when you're not using Flutter.
It just depends a lot, you know? Because Dragonite does have issues with fake out. If you get hit with fake out and you're one of like the 2 Pokemon left, it really sucks to lose that multi-scale buff when you get hit with fake out, especially. But if you're able to play around it correctly and if you have the right coverage to deal with the Pokemon, then it doesn't usually end up being too much of an issue. And that's, I think, kind of where people are fairly divided on that overall. Outside of Choice Band, people are using Assault Vest, Clear Amulet, and Lumberry. Yeah, those are very standard. Yep. EV spreads are the same. Max attack, max speed, adamant, high HP, a good amount of attack, and some speed, adamant. And some minor variations from there, including a bit more bulk or a bit more HP and just damage. A couple of jollies sprinkled in here and there too for high speed, max attack, max speed jolly, but everything else looking at adamant overall.
Yep. Coming up next, we got the bear.
Indeed,
right
indeed. Yep. Moon Bear.
Ursaluna. Ursaluna, it's kind of shocking. Starting to use Swords Dance now. Watch out. It's not Burning Orb. Using that Burn Orb anymore.
I mean, it seems like it still is. 97% usage on that Flame Orb anyway.
Going for it on top of it? What are these people doing?
They're clicking Swords Dance instead of clicking Protect.
Yep. I mean, why bother when you can live an Urshifu hit sometimes?
And especially if you know that you're gonna, like, if your opponent assumes you're gonna click Protect, then it's very easy to punish them by just clicking Swords Dance instead, alongside that Cresselia clicking Trick Room.
Yep, most people are running it Adamant.
Oh yes.
Right now too.
Adamant or Brave.
I still think that there is a lot to say about IVs here. Because Bear is one of those Pokemon where having the right IVs does really matter. Because we don't know which one of these bears is going first in EV spreads.
Yeah, and we don't know which one is, 0 speed versus not 0 speed.
Yeah. And you can even undercut and go just like one above.
Yeah.
On 0 speed to be able to always win the outside of Trick Room matchup after that one turn or two.
True. There are a lot of ways you can mess with your Moonbear's speed stat.
Mhm. I always run no good though. Always go 0 for me.
Yeah. When you're using it in Trick Room, it makes sense. There are a couple of
Yeah.
EV spreads down here using faster bear modes at 108 and 132 speeds. But predominantly,
Yep.
everybody's
I
running
think
that.
I think that fast bear is still extremely underexplored.
Yeah. I think it's really good,
I'm
honestly.
looking at this 132 one. 140 HP, 132 attack, 100 defense, 4 special defense, and 132 speed. To me, that one looks pretty choice.
It does indeed for a fast bear. That spread sounds like a really solid spread all in all.
Hmm.
For moves, Facade, of course, Protect. Earthquake actually taking over as the most common ground type move. When paired with Cresselia, it makes sense.
Because you can helping hand through the terrain drop.
True. And through the spread drop as well,
Hmm.
in that sense. Headlong Rush, and then Bulk Up also showing up here as well. Another stat boosting move.
Yep. And then the Ice Punch and Shadow Claw for coverage.
Yep. And Rock Slide, of course. Anything that can learn Rock Slide has Rock Slide show up, at least for like 5% usage.
It's a good spread coverage move.
Yeah, it really is. Especially when you have the speed advantage and you can have double flinches happen. I mean, sometimes you end up in a scenario where a double flinch is what lets you win the game. It definitely happens.
I'd be a liar if I hadn't done it before.
Yeah. Indeedee and Armourouge making an appearance in Teammates for Ursaluna as well. Considering the Trick Room core, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and this is really comes from Len's team.
Yep.
Being so popular.
Oh yeah. All of Len's teams. Basically all having Indeedee, Armourouge, and Ursaluna together.
Yep.
And just being very consistently good.
Yep. Coming down to the last of the list, we got Urshifu Single Strike.
Yep. The one-hit wonder himself.
You know. Yep.
Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch on all of them almost. Wow. 97% Sucker Punch, and of course Wicked Blow at 99.974.
But you must respect the Terra Poison Jab.
Terra Poison Jab. A great counter to the fairy types for sure, honestly. And actually quite a good way to counter Hisui and Gudra that wants to go Terra Fairy against you as well.
Yep. This is why I run Terra Water. I just say Urshifu Dark, I'll worry about neutral hits.
Neutral is definitely more effective sometimes. Yeah. Close combat also being up there at 91%. No surprise there. Followed by Protect and Detect, basically just fighting it out as the two protecting moves. I love how so many VGC players get so torn over which protect move is better on Pokemon that get access to Detect and Protect.
You know what? They should just stop and use both.
Take up both move slots for moves that you can't even use in synergy with each other. Perfect.
Imprison? No, thank you.
Right? Detect is basically the counter to Imprison, since Protect can be frequently imprisoned, technically.
But
almost every
Detect
Pokemon
can
gets.
also be imprisoned by quite a few notable Pokemon. Even not bad Pokemon can do that too.
True. Specifically as well, though, the other issue with Detect is it has a lower PP. So Detect is a 5 PP move normally, being boosted up to 8 at maximum, whereas Protect has a maximum of 16.
Of the game, you're honestly at a battle of wills for who's going to click the button.
Oh, of course, but sometimes when you're in the World Championship match, and that's what it comes to, absolutely, you are clicking Detect. You are
But
clicking that move if that's your win con.
it's true.
No matter what.
Oh gosh, can you imagine if a struggle battle happens on stream in World Championships?
Struggle battle on World Championships. Oh no.
That'd be
Let's see.
crazy.
Yeah, U-turn. Focus Sash being the most common item, Choice Band being number 2. Interesting. I really figured the Choice Band was going to come up at number 1, but I guess not. Not a huge difference, though.
Yeah, one of the notable things too about it is that black glasses. So if you're a fan of the black glasses set for King Gambit that was in Regulation C, you can use that same kind of idea here.
Yeah, and Urshifu handles that set even better, honestly, because just its sheer damage output and the ability to break through protects every time is incredible.
Yeah.
The downside of Urshifu single strike, I think.
Punch through protect.
Yep. Can't sucker punch through protect anyway, because sucker punch will still fail.
Yep.
That is the only downside I see of Urshifu single strike. Honestly, that it's a priority move. Can't hit every single time.
Yeah, one of the things I do want to note about Urshifu single strike is that this one is running way bulkier than Rapid Strike.
There is definitely a bit more bulk, definitely more frequently here as well. Yeah, there's a Brave 252, 252.
That's the Trick Room set with the Power Anklet or Power Band.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a max HP, max attack, Brave Nature Urshifu. Wow.
It's slower than Ursaluna.
That's wild. Chiyu showing up as well as Dondozo, but no Tatsugiri and the teammates here. Tatsugiri fell out.
Actually, I don't think that I don't think that Tatsugiri would be the next best partner, like underneath of that. If we had one more, I don't think it would be Tatsugiri. I think that this is intended partner Solo Bolo Dozo.
Yeah, I think so. All right, that's going to be all of the top 15 Pokemon for the Regulation D rankings currently from Pikalytics. That's all of them through the Showdown rankings. For Switch rankings, they are exactly the same Pokemon, just in a slightly different order. Tornadus moves up to number 2 from being number 4. Chien-Pao moves up quite a bit as well. Amoonguss moves down. Amoonguss falls down to number 13 for Switch on cartridge. And Tornadus and Chien-Pao move up a good bit, but outside of that, it's pretty much the exact same order from there. Goldango, Cresselia, Chi-Yu, Ursaluna, Dragonite, Urshifu, Landorus, all kind of pretty similar together there in usage. It looks like the Switch side does have Terra types, though.
Does it really?
It does. So Fluttermane loves to be Fairy Terra with some Water Terra in there. We're just going to kind of rapid fire these. Yeah, let's do it. Back and forth. Go, number 2.
Ghost for Tornado.
Of course, dodging fake outs.
Yep. Water for Rapid Strike Urshifu.
Yeah, 91. Ghost for Chien-Pao. Yep, that makes sense. 78% Ghost, Chien-Pao dodging fake outs.
Rillaboom, Fire to keep from getting burned.
True, and then Water being number 2. Interesting. Keytrain coming in at the Grass Terra, of course. Best Grass Terra.
I am definitely a strong supporter. If you want to use Terra Bug on Heatran, by all means.
Terra Bug has its benefits. Yeah.
Yep. For Landorus, Flying is its number 1 Terra type.
Water right behind it.
Right behind it.
Yeah, very close. 35 and 32.5 between the two of those. Iron Hands coming in next with the Grass Terra and Water Terra being fairly common. Water Terra mostly to deal with, I think, the Urshifu, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Going down to Goldango, a still top dog. By a reasonable margin, you're going to run into that Steel Terra Goldango. Cresselia running Fairy 74% of the time. However, I will shout out doing Terra Electric on a Levitate Pokemon right now. Very, very, very good. If you are building around a neutral hit, do that.
Terra Electric Cresselia is really good. Yep, I completely agree. Chi-Yu coming in with the Terra Fire and Ghost and Grass, all being pretty commonly used, over 20%. So Chi-Yu is one of those Pokemon pretty flexible Terra. Ursaluna, number 12, coming in 51% usage on the Ghost Terra. I'm actually really surprised to see people straying away from the normal Terra actively at this point, but the ability to survive and dodge fighting type moves does come in a lot of handy, that's for sure.
Yeah, that makes me want to actually change a little bit to be a little bit more conformist, but I'm still a Terra Normal gal.
Terra Normal. Amoonguss, of course, Terra Water, called that one earlier. The Rocky Helmet and Terra Water synergy is just phenomenal against Urshifu Rapid Strike.
Yeah, not even a contest between any other Terra type.
Nope.
Dragonite, we got coming in at the Terra Normalness. Again, 90% of the time, it is Terra Normal.
I don't think anybody's surprised there.
Nope. And the Terra type for Urshifu, Dark, is going to be Dark type or Poison type.
Yep, both of the top there, 45 and 43, respectively. Very consistent, that Pokemon, between one of those two. Either it resists Fairy and is super effective against it, or it's just hitting so hard that Fluttermane goes down anyway.
Yep, and that has it for our little bit on our top 15 meta for going into World.
That is the top 15 of the rankings from Pikalytics. This episode is already a little bit on the long side once again, so we're going to say thank you, everybody, for coming in and checking us out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Leave some comments down below. Let us know what your favorite Pokemon is for this week in the comments. We'll talk about it next week. Thank you as always, guys. Have a beautiful evening, and we'll see you next time.